Hello and welcome to this. Not welcome to the city of.
Did I get it wrong?
Wait.
Or is it
hello?
welcome?
Wait. Why did I forget
hello
what
and
intro?
welcome to the city of London? I'm sorry.
I think it's hello from the city of London.
Oh,
Yeah.
I messed it up.
No, don't worry. It's funny that I forgot. Hello from the city of London. I have the one and only
Mayomikun.
with me today, and I'm so excited, guys. Mayomikun has a very special place in my heart.
Aww.
So I'm gonna shut up and let her tell you a little bit about herself because she is a gem of a human.
Oh,
Mayomikun, go ahead.
Full disclosure, I forgot to prepare what to introduce for myself.
You don't
or
need
how
to prepare
introduce
anything.
myself.
It's meant to come from the heart, girl.
It's meant to come from the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Mayomikun. I am Nigerian and very proud. So I'm Nigerian, British, so I'm a blend of both. I speak English a little funny sometimes because I didn't learn English in this country, and I'll always be proud of that. I'm an Adobe intern like Sima, who is in the customer success team in our London office, which is where we're filming from right now. I'm a Christian. I love my family. I live kind of on the edge of a city and the countryside, so I don't really know what to call myself, but London is very big wide world to me. So thinking about whether or not I will move here or not, because I don't know if I'll be able to hack underground and not seeing sheep.
You see sheep every day?
I see sheep, every day when I'm coming to the office.
Oh my
Sheep,
God.
horses. I saw geese this morning.
Whoa. Which is your favorite? Which animal do you resonate with the most?
Sheep, definitely, absolutely. And when it's lambing season and all it's the sweetest thing ever.
Oh.
It's so cute. So you'll just be seeing the sheep for ages, and then one day you'll just be going through your commute as usual, and you'll just see this tiny little lamb.
Aww.
And you're like, oh my gosh, they're born, and then they just start multiplying. You see more and more every day, and then 2 weeks later they're full grown sheep. So it's short lived, but
they grow fast, do they?
Yeah, I'm proud of them, but yes.
So you love sheep.
I do love sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my oldest toys, I think I gave one away because I felt bad having a teddy that I don't use when somebody else could have it. But I had this set of sheep plushies. And there was a mama sheep and a baby sheep. And I think I gave the mama sheep away. I don't know where the baby sheep is, but I'll go home and look for it. And so I think that's why I love sheep. But they stink. So
do they?
Yeah.
I don't think I've been that close to a sheep to smell one. Oh.
Stay away.
Well, you can look at them from a distance.
Yeah, exactly. You can look at them from a distance. They are quite stupid, I think, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we don't judge animals for their IQ.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's cool. So I didn't know that's something new I learned. You get great exposure to animals back home.
Yes. Which is
anything
fun.
else about yourself?
I'm very passionate about Africa. I think we've spoken about this, have we? So for the people who are not Sima listening to the episode, because of my Nigerian heritage, and I think just a passion that God's put in me, is just to see the continent, when I say the continent, I mean Africa, thrive. Because there's so much power in stories, and there's so much power in the way you talk about things.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of power in the way words drive you to action. And so, that's one thing I'm passionate about. I just don't know how to get there at the moment, is to see the continent thriving, politically, infrastructure-wise, economically. I'm passionate about young people's education, girls' education. And so just trying to bring all of those things together, but also honouring the things that I love about the private sector. So I read a quote once that said, I have a public sector heart, but a private sector mind. Ooh. And so trying to think about how I can bring the two together in my career. Because I really want to, I don't want to say I'm ambitious, because I feel it feels strange to say I'm ambitious. I feel it's something that other people would say about you. Because I don't, to me, it seems like I'm saying that my dreams are bigger than other people's when I say I'm ambitious. But let
Really?
me say, I expect a lot of myself. That's my translation of saying I'm ambitious. And so I really want to do the best that I can, like in private sector, because that's what little me dreamed about, like the heels and the CEO and the
Corporate girl.
private jets, exactly, like the whole nine, which doesn't really exist anymore because we're both here wearing trainers in a corporate office, but
It does exist in some places.
Yeah, in some places.
And if you wanted to come in heels, you could.
Yeah, some people come in heels and they look awesome. So
yeah.
I could do that if I'm willing to be stood on the tube and not mind. But
sacrifice the comfort of your feet.
Yeah,
but
for the vibe.
In terms of, just tracing back, your passion, I love how passionate you are about Africa.
Thank you.
Did this drive you to do what you did for the Warwick Africa Summit? Tell us about that, because it seems like you did some great work on that.
Thank you. So Africa Summit, yes, it did drive that.
By the way, guys, Mayomikun goes to Warwick Uni. That's
yes,
why.
I do. Hence the W in Warwick Africa Summit. Yeah, so Africa Summit, it was like I don't want to say it was an accident, because of course, like, we're both women of faith, so I believe that it was God's plan for me. But for me, like, I had no inkling. I was just I was just walking through the, like, Freshers Fair. Did you have Freshers Fair where the societies
all the stalls and...
So I was walking through with my friend, and it was so funny. Like, she wasn't really in the mood to go to all the stalls, but I was. Like, you could probably tell from my personality, I like to try different things. And she wasn't really in the mood, so I was kind of balancing, like, okay, I really want to explore all these places, but I don't want to abandon my friend. Like, maybe she wasn't in the mood because she wasn't feeling well or something like that. It was so hot in that hall. And as we were walking along, I hadn't seen the Africa Summit stall, and these girls came up to me and they were like, you know, we invited Mr. Easy to our summit, like, would you be interested in coming to learn more about Africa Summit? And I was like, oh my gosh, I love I did love Mr. Easy's music, like, at the time. I don't know what he's released now. Yeah, and they were like, and we have plantain chips, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely coming to eat at the very least.
That's the key selling. She always has them in the office. Actually, they haven't had them in ages.
They disappeared, but I'm too scared to ask for the snacks. All the snacks that I like have gone.
Even
it's
the
just
strawberries?
nuts left. Yeah, the strawberries are
no
gone.
Way.
The mango roll-ups are gone. The plantain chips are gone.
Oh no, I'm so
the dash
sorry.
water is... It's like they're trying to phase me.
Was there anything at the snack? What was the brand? Chaps.
And the chaps.
Did you put
really
in? Did you sign the form to request for chaps?
When was that form closed by? Because I remember clicking on it, but it wouldn't let me submit.
Yeah, my link, when I scanned the link, it wasn't opening up. I don't know why. But
I hope
it's probably closed.
It
was like a week or two ago.
My one chance to share
my
voice.
For context, we had a huge snack. I love that Adobe does this. We had a huge snack fair in the office. It was literally like a freshers fair, but for snacks.
Yes, and people
with a bunch of startups.
With,
literally, like freebies. With different people and like founders coming pitching their product for us to essentially have at the office. Oh my god, I was very keen on the cheesecake. Did you try it?
I couldn't.
Alright, it's so cute and it had nuts.
And
sorry.
he was like, "You're allergic to nuts," and I was like, "Yeah," and he just had this look in his eyes like, "I have nothing for you."
Oh, that's a shame. But okay. I literally drove everyone I spoke to at the snack fair to his stand. His name was Sam, one of the co-founders, and then I connected with him on LinkedIn after. I was like, "Hey Sam, great job! The cheesecake is amazing." And apparently he's in Nottingham.
Oh, cool.
They're based in Nottingham, so that was cool.
So he travelled like a long way.
Yeah, like they're quite dedicated. I think most of the people who were at the stands, I asked them like, "Is this your business?" And most of them said yes. Like, you know, I started this from scratch. So it's cool to talk to people who are entrepreneurs in their journey.
Yeah.
But yes, sorry, you were saying.
The
plantain chips attracted you to the stands.
Yes, so
alongside Mr. Easy.
Yes, so I went to the stand and they were telling me about Africa Summit, and they said, I think they invited me to like an intro event or something, and I don't think I was able to make it, But I did end up applying.
Was this first year or second year?
First year.
Okay.
So I was a baby fresher, because Freshers Fair is like first week of school. And then I think a few weeks later, like, they had the exec roles open. Do you have exec roles in, like,
in for committees, for societies?
Yeah, so they had one open for head of fundraising events.
Okay.
I don't know where I got the boldness from, because looking back, I'm like, why would I apply to that? I was a baby girl, like, why? But
because you can, why not?
That's true. But yeah, I like went through the interview, and looking back, like, it seemed really easy, which is like how part of how I like see God in my life is like, when things seem easy, like, that's like God helping you to do something, and it just means it was in your gift, in your talent to do it. And so like, I got the role, did the thing. We ended up raising 1.7k for a charity back home in Africa.
That's incredible. Well done.
Thank you. And yeah, that was like my first into Africa Summit. And then what happened? I was planning not to reapply. So full disclosure. I heard a quote this morning that said, "You can impress with your strengths, but you connect with your vulnerability." So I
that's a good quote.
It's from.
You have to send that to me. I like that.
Let me see. I'll check my phone after this, but I think it was attributed to Nikki Gumbel, who's like she called him a vicar, but I don't know if he's an actual vicar, but I don't mean to say that in like a disrespectful way, but I don't know if that was his occupation at the time, or if that's like his full title, like the thing. But he said that, and I was like, whoa, that's really important. So I wasn't planning to reapply, because I had like identified things that I would love to have changed in the society. And I was thinking, like, I'm going into second year, things are starting to count now. And so I don't want to prioritize other things. Yeah, exactly. So what happened? So I went to this, and it seems so random, but I was invited to this like Africa like leadership forum something at Warwick.
Oh, cool.
Because we have a sub-department called Warwick in Africa. So it's the work that we're doing hands-on, where we send volunteers every year, and there's also research work where they like collaborate with professors from different universities for Africa-focused research. And so I went for the lecture and the like advisory meeting and everything. And loads of other people from Africa Summit were also there, including the person that I ended up working with for like the next year. And the new president and vice president, and they came up to me and they were like, you know, you didn't apply for any roles. And I was like, yeah, like I just didn't feel led to, like, the second year is going to be a big year. And I know myself, like, first year I was sold the lie. That like uni is easier than A-levels, which I don't know why I would even believe that, because you do your A-levels so that you can get into uni. So yeah, I was like, okay, like I stretched myself during A-levels to do the best that I could. Uni, I can like take my foot off the gas now a bit and just enjoy exploring these subjects. No. I worked really, really hard. And so I just expected like a step up on that in second year.
Yeah.
But yeah, they came up to me and they were like, you haven't applied? And I was like, no. And they said, like, I love being able to tell stories like this, because you just see like the golden thread through everything. They were like, just tell us what position you want and like we'll give it to you. And I was like,
they're that keen.
I was like, wow, okay. And I ended up changing departments to external relations. So what I was doing before was like stakeholder or relationship management with a charity, but we weren't involved in the actual production of the summit. So we didn't bring in the speakers, we didn't like fundraise for anything to do with the 2-day event that's the flagship conference, but we did act as like what our CSR team do now. So they don't do Adobe work with the tech or with the customers, but they partner off with other organizations. So external relations, which is a team I moved into a leadership role for, was like speaker recruitment, outreach, and then speaker care as well. So we would basically like sell Warwick Africa Summit to them, tell them we would love to have you as a speaker, like these are the potential topics we want you to speak on, this is how we can facilitate
this is
your
foreshadowing your
attendance.
future in a sales-oriented way.
And yeah, just going through the whole thing, awaiting their responses, and it builds your character so much, because I don't know how many emails I sent, or like my team sent, the team that I was leading, but the percentage of acceptance, the response percentage, first of all, is like super slim. And no disrespect to the people we were emailing, like stuff gets lost in people's inboxes, they have to prioritize. But yeah, like the response rate was really low. And then there would be a lot of back and forth around like the logistics and the financing, and we're a student-led organization, like the money we have is the money we have.
Yeah.
And it was sourced by a team that works really hard to get to get partnership funds. And so like there was like negotiation on like, okay, what can we pay for, what can you pay for, and just seeing that whole process as well was really enlightening on what to do, what not to do, what works. And then once they arrive at the summit, making sure that they're like taken care of, everything is going to the way they want it to be, like timings were going smoothly, etc. So it was a full end-to-end like care process. And yeah, I learned a lot through listening to people that are doing the work on the continent in one way or another. And so it's given me ideas of like the paths you could go down. But I think it wasn't missing, but the bit that I would love to learn more about is when you're not founding something, or you're not coming up with something of your own, because we invited a lot of founders, and it was really cool to hear their experience of like starting up on the continent, like identifying and solving a problem. But I want to learn more about the bridge between the pure private sector stuff that they're doing with like the occasional CSR activity on the side, versus where there are private sector organizations that are in full partnership with government. Because we also had on the complete other end, like we had like first ladies and presidents and stuff coming in. They're like full government. So where's the bridge at the moment?
And that would help you better understand how you can align your passion for private with public sector.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you considering doing more of this when you go back?
I think
because final year is a lot, obviously, so
yeah, what I told myself, or what I've agreed with myself as of, what's the date today, 22nd of April, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, is I'm going to explore the things that I find fun for fun, but it's not going to be like me taking on commitments or anything like that.
I get you.
Because it would be like, of course it'd be cool to be like, yeah, I was president of Warwick Africa Summit, or I was president of this society or that society, and I was encouraged to, but at the end of the day, like it's you have to sit with yourself and live with yourself. If you're stressed, it's you that's stressed. If you're overwhelmed, it's just you, and everyone telling you to do or not to do things isn't going to be there with you to manage that. And so yeah, it was a thing of like, it reminds me of the first episode of Basola's YouTube channel podcast, Trailblazers Uncovered, with Alexandra Didier, and Alexandra said, would you still do the thing that you're considering if you can't like tell people about it? Like if you can't post it on LinkedIn, if you can't, I guess, use it to self-promo, would you still do it? In that case, knowing myself, no, because I know that my priority is to get my degree at the moment.
Yeah.
But like if I did have the bandwidth or anything else like that, then for sure still, maybe do it.
That's a great question. And it's not always necessarily a case of, I wouldn't do it because I care about what other people think, but more so because I care about my sanity and being able to take care of myself and balance my priorities effectively. Like that's what it sounds like it is in your case. Yeah. Because I know how passionate you are about it and how much you'd want to do it. But that's so cool to hear about what your team did and how you managed to get the founders to come, hear their stories. So thanks for sharing that. But another topic that Mayomikun and I are both quite passionate about that I wanted to touch on was faith. Yes. And how I guess we use it day to day, but also entering the world of corporate. Would love to hear your perspective on that.
I was gonna be that cheeky, like, not co-host, but the guest speaker and be like, actually, Seema, what do you think about this? But I think it's... Let me start with the vulnerability again. When I first joined the company, I had that internal thing with myself of like, okay, this is a professional environment. Is faith professional enough to bring into this environment? Will I be judged? Will I be ostracized? Will I be left out or skipped over for opportunities? And even, I guess, even if I'm not professing like the name Jesus and saying that I'm a Christian everywhere I go, I'm really grateful that it's seeped into like my language and the way that I behave and I act. And so even just things like, oh, I'm grateful, like, or I'm, you know, like this could only have been God, or just things like that. Like I remember once, and I love this woman so much, so I didn't take it to heart. It just like showed me something. Was my was my careers advisor in my secondary school. I think I had just got my offer from Warwick or something like that, or I had got my uni offers. And we were just talking about like where I would go afterwards. I was just saying like, I'm just
after uni or before uni?
After secondary school.
Okay.
And I had just said like, I'm so grateful, and like, you know, I'm just thankful that this has happened. And I think she took it as me being self-deprecating. So like, because I don't believe in luck, but like for her it's like, oh, like, you know, it's just such a lucky thing that happened. And she looked at me and she said like, no, like you worked for this. And at first I was like, I did work for it, but it doesn't mean that I can take the credit for everything. I think that's the conclusion that I've come to with that.
I see.
And so that was something that I also like had to sit with myself about, is when I got here, that was what I would say all the time. Like, I'm so grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to like do work that excites me and that I'm passionate about, and I'm learning from all these amazing people, and like it's just such an amazing opportunity. So yes, I'm grateful, but I know that there are people in the world, I've never met any one of them at Adobe, who would take statements like that and the fact that somebody is grateful to say, oh, that means that she doesn't think she deserves to be here, or if she's so grateful for the opportunity, then she wasn't expecting it anyway, so it won't do any harm if it's taken away. And so it's just balancing like praying and working to be humble and to be grateful and to like really lean on God with, no, I do deserve to be here, and like I am hungry for opportunity, because I know when I'm doing my best work, like I'm glorifying God. When I'm working in the talents that I've been given, like that's what I'm meant to do. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm not fulfilling my purpose. And just balancing the two, and in an environment where like people think that like really strong self-promotion and like working to death and thinking that it's like you or no one else, and like it has to be your success, and all of these things that can be healthy when they start with, but then they can turn toxic, is like, I don't want to lose me, but I also need to be discerning and shrewd enough to understand the environment that I'm operating in, and just bring the light that I know I have to that. I need to know how to navigate it, but it doesn't mean I have to be like that. So there's just been a lot of like internal reflection, like praying, and just like, God, help me to make the most of this opportunity. Help me to be confident, help me to be bold in my faith, help me to be a light, like help me to be all the things that I'm called to be as a Christian, but also the fact that I'm not like up on a pulpit like preaching or doing like super churchy work, like I'm not doing evangelism on the street or anything like that. It doesn't mean that what I'm doing isn't valuable. It doesn't mean that what I'm doing isn't like seen by God. It doesn't mean that it's a waste of time.
You're doing it in your own way.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone has their talent. Some people are like called to be founders, and that's the ministry and the calling that God has given them and the purpose that God has given them. That means for some of them they were never meant to be pastors. So that doesn't make them like inherently deficient. It's just a different way of living out God's call on your life and the talents that you've been given.
Do you believe that everyone has a calling and that they discover this calling at a certain time in their life, or like do you feel like you know what your calling is?
To answer your first question, everyone has a calling. No one is an accident. No one. Like I believe that with all of my heart. Like, you know when some parents jokingly call their kids accidents because they weren't in their they weren't in their plan, and like I will happily laugh at those jokes, but like no one's an accident to God. And like it sounds so, or it can sound so, you know when, and I don't know if this is podcast friendly, but when people are under the influence and they act like super like, wow, like leaves are amazing, and they'll just say things like that, and they're like, oh my gosh, like the sky is such a pretty shade of blue, and like
I feel like I would say those things not even being like I don't drink and I'll say those things.
No, me, like I've started doing it over the last few weeks, and I'll just look outside and be like how does that bird even,
by life?
Yeah, like how does that bird know where it's going? Like just things like that, and I'm like wow, God is so amazing. Like all of this detail that's been put into everything that we see around us and every single person, like the fact that we have hair on our heads that's made up of individual strands that grows without us having to do anything. Like it's just things like that I'm like
appreciating of God's creation, God's capabilities.
Yeah, like no one can be an accident. No one. Unless like you see a person that is literally like a blob of Play-Doh. Like no thought, nothing has been like gone into that. When somebody gives me a person that actually looks like that, then we can say, okay, let's talk. Like, let's talk and ask God.
But even that blob of Play-Doh was meant to be.
Exactly.
Like, we have a saying in Arabic and in Islam that it's maktub, which means it was written. Like it was all in like God's plan. Like it's meant to be, you know. And I'm assuming you'd also be a big believer of if it's meant to be, it'll be, and that everything happens for a reason, you know?
Everything happens for a reason, yes. The first part, there's a whole like theological, and I'm not theologically trained, so I don't know, but the first part of like, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. I don't know, I feel like everything that happens, I don't know. It feels like such a can of worms to open.
That is true.
Because there are some decisions that you make, or there are some decisions that we make as humans because we have free will that lead us down a certain path. That might not be the path that God has written for that person. So I think bringing my philosophy brain in, it's like, what do we count as meant to be? Is it meant to be that maybe that the plan for that person was always never to fulfill God's plan? Or is it that like it's wordsmithing.
It is a can of worms, like you said.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of another phrase, which is ultimately, you do your best and you let God do the rest. And Absolutely. We have this concept of, it's called tawakkul versus tawakkul, and the names are very similar. I'm sure they sound the same too, but I forget which is which sometimes. But one of them is trying your best, but also you can't just but also one of them is trying your best, doing your best, putting in the work, and the other is remembering that at the end of the day, like you have to leave the rest to God. Like not everything is in your control.
Absolutely.
But you can't just rely on the fact that everything is in God's hands. You have to put in the work yourself too, right? You can't just be quote unquote lazy about it.
For sure.
It's like, I have an exam tomorrow, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to study or put any effort, because at the end of the day, it's like it's up to God. Okay, but you do have to you have to put in the tools. Work. And I remembered that because when you said what does it actually mean it's meant to be? Because I guess to an extent, there's elements that you can control in what happens, but there's also elements you can't control.
For sure.
So it is. It's a can of worms.
But what do you think? Because we mentioned another topic initially, but I'm keen to hear from your perspective, because we have different faiths, but I think the values are very closely aligned.
Yeah.
So what's been your experience like bringing your faith into work, like, because I know like you have practices and traditions that you also follow. So how's that been as well?
Well, I think overall my values are very aligned to my faith. I mean, my values, a lot of them come from my faith, and the way I navigate my life is through living and practicing those values, which includes the way I navigate work life and my interactions with people, like respect. Generosity is a big one, I think, and it's big in Islam, being generous, being giving, being kind. There's a difference between nice and kind. I've learned that.
For sure.
But having genuine intention also is really important, because in Arabic it's called niyyah, and the word intention. It's whatever you do, like sometimes you can do something good, but really sometimes I have to sit and think about my intention, like did I mean good, and if not, like why not, you know? And sometimes maybe I'll say no to something because it doesn't align with my values, which I appreciate lots of people don't always get to do that. In the corporate world, like you don't always get the choice, and I'm really grateful to be at a company where I at least I personally, from my experience, feel quite respected in the way where if I don't want to do something like that doesn't align with me, I don't have to.
For sure.
So yeah, it's like thinking about that, and so yeah, the idea of values. Another one I guess is patience, because it's interesting because the word ambitious, right? I get your perspective of like it feels weird to call yourself ambitious, but I do think it's quite an accurate way to describe people like myself, like yourself. So I do use it, and because I'm ambitious with my dreams and my goals, my aspirations, I would say that hunger and that drive can sometimes make me want more, right? And I don't always feel satisfied, but then I need to think about my values and my faith to remember that everything, I think everything will come at the time it's meant to come, and I should be patient and understand that God, like we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam, will bring the opportunities to me at the right time. And so I need to be patient and not to, like, of course, again, I need to put in the work to do what I need to do to get certain opportunities or to get myself closer to where I want to be. But there's only so much I can do, and I need to have faith that I'm doing my best, and that whatever's meant to come to me will come. And I think for anyone listening who isn't religious, lots of people talk about energy in general, and like just, you know, there's like this concept that I saw people talking about on TikTok, the like let them theory. Not stressing too
Mel
much.
Robbins' book? I think that's where it comes
from. Oh, is it
from
from Mel Robbins? Okay.
I
oh
think
my god. So. Speaking of Mel Robbins, my friend and I are going to an event that she's doing in June, so I'm super excited for that.
Oh my What's the event about?
It's just one of her
things, her shindigs.
like her conferences that she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to listen to more Mel Robbins, honestly, because I hear snippets of her talks and her videos, but I haven't listened to enough yet. But yeah, so the idea of like not stressing too much about things, and if they're meant to happen, they'll happen. All of that is very linked to patience, and I think that's something that my faith has helped me with, and that we're all ever evolving humans, right? And that's something I'm still trying to get better at. At the beginning of this year, I set some pillars and some key goals I had, and one of them is patience and just trusting the process, right? Like it's not only about the destination, it's about the journey. And often when I look back even at my journey of doing the IB International Baccalaureate, like an equivalent to A-levels for sixth form essentially, I was always so focused on the end goal, you know, like okay, I want to get this grade, I want to do XYZ to get into uni, to just feel proud of myself. But when I look back, I'm really proud of myself for the way I performed, but the highlights lied in the journey, like getting there, you know, like those nights of laughter with my friends when I couldn't, like when I was struggling so much on a math problem, or figuring out like how to answer a theory of knowledge question. Like looking back at the journey and all the learnings along the way are so valuable, and like having that patience throughout those two years to get to the end goal. So this isn't work exactly, but I think values, patience, all of that has been very relevant and to bring to the workplace. And
for sure.
I remember there was a time I spoke to you, I can't remember what it was exactly, but I told you that Mayomikun and I have we haven't had it for a while actually, but we usually have a weekly yes, we usually have a weekly sync, and we just reflect on our week, because we're both quite reflectors, I would say. And I asked her for her 3 Gs, 3 things she learned that week, and one of them was, or was it, well, somehow you mentioned the idea of prayer. Yes. And talking to God and asking God for help. And after you mentioned that, never mind, I think one of my Gs was remembering to talk to God and to pray for the things that I would like help in. And I had done that because I was encouraged by you doing it. And so I thanked you for that, because doing that has been a game changer. Whenever I do like look out to God and I like have faith and ask for help, I find that like things feel so much more smooth, and I feel supported. And so like a word that we say in Arabic is subhanallah, like wow, it's like, you know what you're talking about with the way the intricacies and detail of the way we have hair on our heads, and when you look at the trees, like that's the type of word that we would use like when you're so amazed and awestruck. So yeah, it's just, I guess that's how I've brought faith, and how I would continue to bring faith into my day-to-day at work. Thanks for asking.
Should I not have asked?
No. It's great. You can do whatever you want. It's this podcast episode is about you, which is why I'm gonna talk last now, bringing the floor back to you.
Okay.
But before I ask another question, do you have any thoughts, or did that bring up any ideas that you want to share?
Ooh, there was one thing, which was
you. Do you need? Okay.
There was one thing, which was when you were talking about patience and like believing that once I do my very best, that I have to leave it in God's hands. And there was another quote that I heard, although I don't know where I heard it. It could have been in church, it could have been on a podcast somewhere, that is like, it's so funny that we as humans think that we have like so much control over what happens to us. So we're like, oh, like I guess I'll just trust God and like surrender my plans. And it was God's plan was running already. Like, it's nice of you to say that you're gonna trust God, but it will. But the thing that I remembered was like, when it feels hard to wait, remembering that God's plans for you are good. That's the biggest like thing that I've been reflecting on recently. Is that your ring?
Yes. Sorry, go on.
No, it's like for the times that I felt like super panicked, maybe it was like a test was coming up, or I didn't think I was going to make a deadline at work, is like, whatever happens to me, I will do my very best, because that's what I've been called to do. Like in the Bible it says, work unto the Lord. Sorry, I really hope I'm not going to butcher this. It's Colossians 3:23, and it says work hard. It's talking to slaves. So it's a letter that was written to a society where there's different people. So there were, slaves, and there were other types of people. And it says, for the people that are slaves, that they should work hard to please their masters, even when their masters aren't watching them, because your reward is with God. So you should work no matter who you're working for, whether you're working as an entrepreneur to support like yourself and your family, or if you're working with an employer, like work as if your employer is God, because your reward will ultimately come from God, and it's going to be so much better than any paycheck or any promotion that you could receive. But once I've done that, I need to remember that the outcome will always be for my good, because that's God. God isn't like this big angry person that's gonna like try and catch me out, or like try to make me fail. If I believe that God loves me and his plan for me is good, then I don't need to fear trusting. I don't need to like be afraid to say, okay, I've done my best, like please God, make it good, because that's just how it's going to be. So that was something that came to my mind as you were talking about patience.
That is such an important point. Also remembering to do, and I think it's very in alignment with the idea of staying true to your values, because you need to remember that, yes, like some people I would say live their lives trying to please others, and then some people prioritize themselves, and part of prioritizing yourself, if you believe in a God, is pleasing God, right? And I think it's important to sit back and reflect on who are you trying to please in life, and it's really it's crucial to not, or I mean I guess it depends on your priorities, but for the most part I would say most people wouldn't want to be living their lives for other people, right? Or trying to please people who in reality aren't like going to make the biggest difference in their lives, or at least when you look back when you're old, right? I always try and think of like future old Granny Sima. Like when I'm old, I mean God knows what's gonna happen, but when I'm, God forbid, like close to the end of my life, but like I don't want to look back and think, oh, why did I spend so much time worrying about what this person's gonna think, or you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I'm trying to live life for myself and for my faith, for my God. So I think what you said is very very, very valid.
Thank you.
I know that you need to leave soon, but do you want to wrap this up?
We can do. I know you wanted to ask one more question. If you still remember the question, because I know I snatched the topic.
A topic we did want to talk about.
Yes.
Which I think Mayomikun is a pro at. Is personal branding.
Thank you.
Just
thought you were gonna say dancing. No, I'm joking.
I haven't seen you dance.
I was gonna say I haven't seen me dance either. Have I actually seen myself dance though? Yeah, I was telling Shikari about how I was dancing with my friends in the gym instead of working out. We had like Shakira on the TV.
Oh, that's so fun.
I saw myself in the mirror.
Was it Waka Waka?
Yeah, it was. How did you guess? Queen
because
Shakira.
That's an iconic Shakira song.
Yes, we were all attempting to belly dance. But unfortunately, none of us are Colombian Lebanese, so we don't have that natural talent.
We should have a belly dancing session one time.
You'll have to teach me, because
but other than dancing, another which I've come to realize is a potential other talent. Tell us your thoughts on personal branding.
Should I be controversial? I've heard so many different things about personal branding, and right now, if you asked me this question last week, I would have been like, yeah, personal branding. Like, remember what I told those girls in the session? I was like, taking control of your narrative. No, you were still at your event then. I spoke about personal branding as like taking control of your narrative. And I think I may have taken that quote, if it is a quote, from Busola's episode with Opeyemi. But it was about how, like, no matter what you do, whether you do everything or nothing, people are always going to have a perception about you. But when you invest in personal branding, you're taking control of that narrative and that perception, at least as much as you can, to like what you can influence. But over the last few days, I've just been thinking about, like, it's good to control your narrative, but I'm philosophizing again. That's the PPE student in me.
Go for it. I love it. We should have an episode where we just philosophize everything.
I would love that. Philosophize and romanticize. That's like the two things we can do. But it's good that you're taking control of your own narrative. But the fact that you're doing that is also being perceived. And there's no level of influence that can... I don't know if I'm overthinking it. But just to be completely honest, like, I've spoken to different people and I've asked questions about like visibility, how you should like talk about the things that you do, and we have the whole standard thing of like quantifying your impact so that people can easily relate to the things that you've done, and I guess sharing the things that you do that are outside of your role to demonstrate like initiative and proactiveness and leadership. But it's like, I had this a few months ago as well, where I just became super conscious of everything that I've posted on LinkedIn and like everything that I've ever done. And I don't know if that's like just girl brain of like, do you ever get that where you're walking in the street and you're like do I look funny? And then for the next few days you think you look like a chicken. Like that's my... So it's...
I get you.
It's like, is everything that I've put out there, like, is it having the effect that I want it to have? What you mentioned about like having like a pure heart and genuine intention as you're doing things, like, am I doing this because I want attention? Am I doing this because I want visibility? What's the end that I'm trying to achieve? And as I'm like posting on LinkedIn and as I'm, you know, the recap emails that I send internally, after we do, so for context, I send out like emails after we do an event. So Seema, you and I have collaborated on a few, so you've seen them go out. Like, I'll copy everyone that was involved, their managers, their like, you know, maybe their mentors, include photos, what everyone did, just so that even if they don't speak up to it themselves about their manager, like they have external validation of the things that they've done and evidence.
And it's great that you do that, and everyone appreciates it.
Thank you. But yeah, just really like, I guess, is it investigating? No, scrutinizing is the word that I wanted to... Scrutinizing and evaluating your intentions, the state of your heart, why you're doing things, making sure that things don't get lost on the way. So I guess me posting, it started off because that was what I felt led to do. I was like, okay, I just had an idea to post. It's not a bad idea, and it's not going to do any harm to anyone. And I prayed about it, and I was like, okay, like I feel like led by God to do this. So I started, and I love writing, and like processing things and packaging my thoughts in a certain way. So that was how I did that through LinkedIn. And so, yeah, I've kind of gone off topic from the initial question around like what are my thoughts on personal branding, but
no, but this answers the question.
It does? Oh, phew.
Like, this is on track. I don't think it's off topic.
Thank you. Of like, I guess to summarize, I don't really know how I feel about personal branding at the moment. Yeah, that's my honest answer, which I feel like...
And you don't have to.
That would have been like, if this was Stephen Bartlett, that should have been where you like have the like bass drop in the trailer where it's like, I don't know how I feel about personal branding.
Yeah,
bass
like,
drop. And then you like flash up the photos of my LinkedIn and it's like, is she telling the truth? Yeah, but I really love watching people that do it well. So like Taylor Falls is absolute queen icon, and I love the authentic approach that she takes with things. And anytime she does a podcast episode, or like even when we were one-on-one, like in our regular catch-ups, she will always say like, and I quote, I love to yap. That's like that's the first thing. And then after that, it's like she's seen the impact that having a mentor has had on her, and she's also seen her gift in being able to summarize like pertinent information for people in their early careers. So she's putting the two together and releasing something really great to the world. And so for me right now, if I want to brand personally, if I want to personal brand effectively, then I need to get better at articulating my mission beyond like just updating my network, which is also, I guess, a valid thing to do if you're posting on LinkedIn, or like you're branding yourself a certain way internally, with like the interests that you share and the things that you go for and you choose to publicize. But yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. Is my heart pure as I approach it?
And what you said about choosing what to post, do you feel that you have a specific niche, or are you aiming for a specific niche, or do you just post whatever comes to mind? Because generally with content creation, people, I do a lot of, like, I follow a lot of accounts related to content creation because it's just something I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
And I consume content about content creation across different social media platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and different people tend to say different things. There's a lot of conflicting advice. Sometimes people will be like, you need a niche. You can't please everyone. Being too all-rounded isn't going to get you anywhere. And then other people are like, no, you need to mix in elements of your personal life so that people feel they can connect to you personally while you talk about maybe what you do professionally or whatever you're, I guess if you're a business owner, the business you're trying to sell, the product or service you're trying to sell. So what are your thoughts, even if it's just a personal brand, not business related?
I think having a niche is great to focus your efforts. And when I say I think asterisk, all views are my own, plus like they've all been really influenced by the content that I've also seen on content creation. And like when did I start posting? Like October or something last year, or August. So it's been less than a year of like really trying this and seeing what works. But I think it's really good to focus your efforts when you start, because a lot of people, I keep acting like I'm an expert when I'm not.
Don't underestimate your abilities. Like you can be an expert if you want to.
Thank you. I will be the pretend expert for this on this
I guess
topic.
Also define expert, because expert is a very vague or you know how like everyone on LinkedIn is now a thought leader. It's like define thought leader. What does that really mean? Because you know. Yeah. This could be saved for our philosophy episode.
Yes, no, literally, yes, our public commentary, social commentary episode. But I think, let me say, the people that I've spoken to that tell me they like want to post on LinkedIn or something like that, they always say they don't know where to start. They don't know what's relevant to share. They don't know, like, a lot of unknowns. And I think having a niche or like a specific mission statement, like I want to do X to help Y to do X. That's like a nice mission statement. Can help you focus your efforts to say, if I cut out all the noise of all the things I could ever talk about, what is the person I'm trying to speak to trying to achieve? So that's the helping Y to do X part. And how am I going to do something that's going to be valuable to Y, that person, to fulfill their own mission? And I think it really helps, but it can also feel restrictive, because that was something that I also, I guess, something that I had to work out within myself was when I was like super focused on like really like early professional stuff, like what I'm learning at Adobe, what I would like recommend to people applying for internships, etc., to when we did the Deloitte event, and I was like, I just want to experiment with something new and like just flash up what we did, what we spoke about, who was involved. I'm not going to talk about my learnings. I'm not going to talk about how I did it. I'm not going to talk about like all of the usual stuff that I bring into my other content, and just see what happens. And like, to be honest, I didn't really delve into like the engagement or anything like that towards that specific end, but it was also, I felt conflicted because I was like, this doesn't feel like me. And when people usually ask me questions, it's not that I don't give them a straight answer. It's that I like them to know the context around what happened. Yeah. And it comes back to the thing about gratitude that I mentioned earlier. Like, I don't want to say, oh yeah, I just did this and this happened. Like, no, I want you to know that I prayed on my knees and I begged God to help me make this happen. Like, I want you to understand that I really worked for this and I spoke to these and these people and I did X, Y, and Z, because if you want to do the same thing, you can cut out the tears and whatever and do the same if you want to. And that's how I approach LinkedIn. That's what feels authentic to me. And so that post, I felt super uncomfortable releasing it because I was like, people don't see the behind the scenes, which is what I think humanizes my content and like helps me to validate that I'm not self-aggrandizing by sharing the BTS. But it was just something new, and it was...
Yeah, you tried something out.
Yeah, and I guess the niche is like kind of similar, but targeting like a different group of people. Yeah. Maybe people that don't want to learn how to do things, but they want to see like, oh, what's she up to? Yeah. And so that like the two paths that you can go down is like, I'm just posting so that people can learn about what I'm doing, versus I'm posting to help X. What was it that I said? Do X to help Y do their X. That's what I think about niches. It helps to start, but when you want to break out of a niche, it's not the end of the world. Nobody's going to be there, like, gun to your head. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say that on your podcast, but nobody's going to be sat by your laptop and be like, why didn't you have your usual hook? Why didn't you have your usual call to action? Like, where are my lessons?
Yeah.
It's my account.
At the end of the day, no one's going to think that deeply into it as much as you are.
Exactly.
But I love that you were able to find a way of writing that really suits you and fulfills you. Like what you said about the way you bring in your learnings and how it humanizes you. That was very well put, and I love reading your posts. You have great posts, and lots of your posting inspired me to post more often and to be proud about it, because I've talked to you about how I feel like uncomfortable about talking about what I do before because of the idea of like being quote unquote humble, but talking about your accomplishments doesn't mean you're not humble.
For sure.
It just means you're proud, and it's a gateway to opportunities. So. It's important to it being in the corporate world.
Yeah. I keep quoting things, but I think it's a valuable way to like translate a message. I don't know if it was that episode, I don't know who the girl is. Sorry, I'm so unplugged from social media. But the founder of Unwell Hydration, something like this, and she has like a Call Me Daddy podcast.
Oh.
Is her name Alex? Or am I tripping?
I'm not sure. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not too familiar with her. At top of mind, at least. I'll get back to you if I remember.
Thank you. She did an episode or like an interview. I think it was with Forbes or one of the big like things. And she was like, you know, I'm not humble. Like I'm proud of my accomplishments, and I think it's really good to be proud. But now I've said that, I don't think it's her that said the quote. But anyway, somebody said that you're not being proud if you're talking about facts. Pride, I think, is, like, the definition that comes to my mind is an overinflated sense of self-importance. Overinflated meaning it's something that's not there. If you're talking about something that is there, that you've done, that you achieved, etc., then you're not overinflating anything. You're just regular
stating the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's a shame that it seems like you're not. It seems like, or at least some conventionally there is this concept that talking about yourself and what you do is like bigging yourself up or hyping yourself up, but in reality, like you said, if you think about it really practically, it's just stating facts.
It's just straight facts. Period. That's it. But not to go too much into it, but I think there's also a difference between men and women in that regard. That like if you, and again, I don't want to open a can of worms, but if you see a man and a woman doing the exact same thing, you might be more inclined to say that the woman is doing too much, because it's just not, I don't want to say it's not historic, like it's not seen historically, but it hasn't been praised historically. I think it's just something that's been praised recently, which is why when the person on Call Me Daddy said that, I was like clutching my pearls, like, what do you mean you're proud? Like, but actually no, she should be proud because she's built an empire and she's signed really huge deals and she's done amazing work, and it's inspiring to see. And if you don't talk about it, then you're robbing other people of the opportunity to be inspired by you as well. Like all the sound bites, all the quotes that I mentioned, that's because somebody was brave enough to tell their story.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's also that. Think of the little seamers that could see what. No, I'm being so for real though. Like all the girls from Dubai that want to make their move, all the girls that are transitioning from IB to like a British education system, who are navigating like being in an industrial placement away from home, moving into this huge city by themselves, like that's baby Seema. But if you're not doing what you're doing now, like the podcast and the LinkedIn posting and just being authentic, then what if baby Seema didn't see somebody, which is big Seema, to do the same thing if that's what she's meant to do?
Very true.
So yeah.
And baby Mayomikun, who has entered an industry, like, guys, this girl didn't even, like, I do a business degree, you don't. It's like,
no, I don't.
Literally. And that's something that caught my eye, or caught my ear, I guess, when you said it in our, like, pre-internship day, and you were like, I'm excited for this role because I have basically no experience in this field, in the world of business. So I really respected you for taking that risk. I was like, yeah, you go, girl. I love it.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts. I'm conscious that you have a train to catch.
Yes, I do.
Mayomikun is very dedicated. Like, she commutes a long way to get here. And do you have a final message to spread some serotonin to the audience?
Final message.
Based on everything we've discussed. Or it could be completely irrelevant. Whatever comes to mind.
I don't know.
Whatever feels right.
I have so many things that I want to say, but I think one is... I don't want to be like this wise old grandma, even though my mother calls me old all the time. It's so, like, she told me, like, the day you were born, like, you were an old woman from that day. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. But I think one thing that this just came to my heart is, like, be proud of your story. I used to struggle so much with comparison when I was younger, and it was, like, debilitating, because I was like, I don't want to try this if somebody's already good at it and excelling in that field, and, like, I'm just not going to be good at them, as good as them. So I would just not try and, like, beat myself down and think there was no value in, like, my experiences or my story. But even if you don't think so right now, like, there's so much value in your story. And what we were talking about earlier, like, look at leaves. They literally have veins. Yeah. Each leaf has a vein, and it lives for, like, 6 months a year before it just falls to the ground and becomes, like, soil food. So, like...
Everyone has potential.
Yeah.
Everyone has a story,
exactly.
A voice.
And there's so much beauty woven into every single person's story, and there's so much thought and attention to detail that, like, the least you can do to honor that, even if you don't believe in God, I believe in God, so the least I can do to honor, like, the work and the intention that has been put into the plan for my life is to live and to enjoy it and to not be afraid of telling it and to take risks and think of yourself as worthy enough. Because even if I'm not worthy because, like, I, you know, did a certain degree, or my father is a certain person, or I have X amount of money, like, the fact that I'm here breathing this air and, like, alive means that there's still so much for me, and there's so much for you too, podcast listener.
Yes.
So that's the final thing I want to say.
That is an amazing ending note. What a way to end the episode. Thank you again. We hope this gave you serotonin, everyone. I'm sure it did.
I hope so.
And please, somehow we'll make a LinkedIn post about this. Get Mayomikun back on here. We need to have you back as a guest.
Thank you. I'd love that.
And yeah, have a wonderful day, everyone. Depending on the time you're listening to this. And take care.
I was about to be like, bye, love you, but I don't know who's listening. Miss you, love you, bye.
We'll spread love regardless. Bye-bye.